Hello students, good morning. How are you this morning? Okay, good. I'm fine too, thank you. Did you have breakfast today? Okay, great. Okay, welcome to my class. First, I want to introduce myself. My name is Nova Fortuna. You can call me Miss Nova. And now, I will present the material about passive voice. Well, do you know what is passive voice? Okay, so passive voice is a type of sentence or clause where the subject accepts the action of the verb. Nah, in passive voice, the subject sentence doesn't perform an action, but the subject receives an action. Unlike the active voice, where the subject acts as the actor of the action, active voice can be converted into a passive voice, but only applies to sentences with transitive verbs. What is transitive verbs? Nah, transitive verbs are verbs followed by direct objects. So, in short, the word passive voice is a passive sentence that contains the meaning. Okay, next. The thing that must be understood in learning passive voice is a verb because all active sentences that can be converted into passive voice are sentences that use the verb, and the verb is the third form verb. Remember, the verb is the third form verb. Okay, here there are three types of verbs. There are verb 1 is present, verb 2 is past, and verb 3 is past participle. Nah, so the type of verb we use for this passive voice is verb 3. Okay. Here the following example will help you to understand why a verb shouldn't be an adjective or a noun. Okay, the example. In active, May sings a song. This is an active sentence. This sentence can be converted into a passive voice sentence. That is, a song is sung by May. Now understand? There are structural changes that occur, but do not change the meaning at all. Okay, another example is May is pretty girl. This is an active sentence, but this sentence cannot be converted into a passive voice. Why? Because this sentence doesn't use a verb, but uses an adjective. And then another example is May is an accountant. This is an active sentence, but this sentence cannot be converted into a passive voice. Why? Because this sentence doesn't use a verb, but uses a noun. Okay, now, here, apart from having three types, verbs have two forms. There are regular verb, is play, played, played. Nah, meanwhile, the irregular verb is sing, sang, sang. Okay, you can see that a little example of regular verb and irregular verb. Yeah. And then, okay, now we're going to the function of the passive voice. So, the function of the passive voice is used to show interest in a person or object that is subjected to an action and not a person or object performing the action. So, the most important thing or person will be the subject of the sentence. Okay, got it? Okay, good. Okay, now we're going to passive voice formulas. Nah, the main formulas for passive voice are to be plus verb 3. Nah, an explanation of to be in simple present to be used is, am, are. Okay, remember, to be will be given only to passive voice, while in simple past tense, to be used is namely, was, and were. Remember, to be will be given only to passive voice. And here, yeah. Okay, here the example. In simple present is in active voice, Jenny studies English. While in passive voice is English is studied by Jenny. And then in simple past is Tom repaired the computers in active voice. And while in passive voice is the computers were repaired by Tom. Yeah, okay, next. Here we're going to example of passive voice. Okay, there are a little example, yeah. The passive voice is used frequently. Nah, we are interested in the passive voice, not in who used it. And then, the house was built in 1998. Here, we are interested in the house, not in who built it. Sometimes, we use passive voice because we don't know or don't want to say who did the action. Okay, got it? Okay, good. However, remember ya. However, when we want to say who or what did an action in passive voice, we use the preposition by. When we know who performed the action and are interested in the subject, we better change it to active voice. Okay, here the example is the movie IT was directed by Spielberg. While in active voice is Spielberg directed the movie IT. And then this house was built by my father. While in active voice is my father built this house. Yeah. Here the example of if we use preposition by. Yeah. Okay, now I will give you an assignment. There are 3 questions at there. Try this at home, yeah. I will read it. Okay, so far any question? If not, that's all for today. I hope this material can be useful for all of us. I hope that you enjoy with my class. See you. Wassalamualaikum. Bye.